I greet you all in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you so much. My name is Timothy Profitable. Now, I want you to be very attentive in this remark I just want to make. This is just a simple remark. I know very many people have gone following in different capacities. Someone has to learn from somebody. And somebody who has learned something has to teach somebody who is still learning the same thing she or he knows. And this is where the difference comes in. When you are learning and when you have learned, it's the direct opposite. Many times you will realize people who have learned things, they have sacrificed time, they have dealt with the right attitude, and they have put themselves in a place where God can position them to acquire more know-how. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Don't forget that. Anytime you want wisdom, there is always the fear of the Lord. I'm not talking about the fear of circumstances. Take note of that. The fear of the Lord. Now, how do you express the fear of the Lord? By respecting those God has put ahead of you. That means there is always someone ahead. And that's where we come to a word, discipleship and the mentor. So a disciple takes discipline and follow closely a mentor to a level where they acquire enough knowledge to also become mentor of another. So if you are not a disciple today, you can never be a mentor tomorrow. Because it's a mentor that mentors a disciple. And a disciple grows into a mentor. So if you cannot be discipled, definitely it is a point that you cannot be a mentor. You can only mentor what you have acquired in knowledge or in reference of practical learning. Now, this goes to the power of following. Following is definitely being behind a person or a human or an entity leading. And then after the leading passes out or passes on the mantle, then we have the follower now leading another person who is also following. And that's when we come about the disciple and the mentor. In some cases we call it spiritual father or spiritual mother or spiritual son or spiritual daughter. This is where all the explanations go differently from one space to another space. Here we are today. I want to tell you that if you cannot be a disciple, then definitely you cannot be a mentor. Forget it. It cannot happen. And faithfulness is one of the better parts of a quality disciple. Let me begin by saying this. A disciple and a mentor are equal personalities. The major difference between a mentor and a disciple is time and the attitude that is put in from the disciple side to the mentor side. Most of the times I've seen good spiritual fathers that mentor other people, but in return gets disappointed. I have also seen when disciples get mentored by mentors who in turn disappoint them. So there is a concept or the precepts at the same time, rules and laws in between a mentor and a disciple. And this is the place where problems come in because disciples don't like the rules that pertains mentorship. And some mentors also don't like the fact that mentorship has regulations and rules to be followed. What am I talking about? Faithfulness is a factor of following and being followed. Mentorship and discipleship. In this particular channel, this Playboy channel, we've been dealing a lot with discipleship and mentorship. Faithfulness being one of the strongholds that paste the two together, that bonds the two together. Which part are you? Are you learning or you are teaching? Are you disciple or you are a mentor? This is one of the most important things you need to work with. You will always be somewhere because God will not break his rules. The higher blesses the lesser. Be not deceived. What a man gives, so shall he reap in due time. So if you are a faithful follower, in the end of the day, you will be a rejoicing mentor. God is not a man to lie. I know there are men who occupy a position and lie. There are men who follow and betray. But then there are people who are helped by the Holy Ghost as they continue into the concepts of leading or concept of following. God molds their way to the place of their breakthrough. May you be one of them. May you be the one person God is waiting for to continue into the journey that will mentor people from your disciple state. And God will bless you. God will increase you. God will multiply you. People shall serve you just as you serve. Paul is speaking about this thing and saying, follow me. I'm following Christ. And then later on he comes on and says, people admire me because they think I'm a free man. But they don't know that I am a slave of the cross. Me too, I am a slave of the cross. That's Paul speaking. And he talks to people who admire. And basically, I see he was speaking to the Corinthians, the Ephesians, the Galatians, and the Colossians. All these people, they had the problem, especially the Corinthians. Following was a problem. Discipleship to them was a problem, was slavery. And then Paul comes out and says, Paul, I was appointed by Christ in his power, because he was converted by the power of Christ. Invisible light that struck him and went him blind for 3 consecutive days until he was sent to a certain man called Ananias to pray for him and restore his light. So Paul knows Jesus in his power. And then the other apostle knows Jesus not only in his power, but in the disciple and mentorship, the master form. So Paul comes on to defend the gospel to the Corinthians in the book of 1 Corinthians. He talks about how God called him. And later on he tells them, I'm not coming to justify my calling, but I, not me, but Jesus Christ lives. Not me, but God who called me lives in me. Not me, but it is him who made my calling available to the world. And he came in and said, I am Paul, a servant to all. I persecuted the church and destroyed the work of God. That's why I feel indebted. I'm working tirelessly to pay back what I spoiled, what I broke. And people don't know. That's why I have the zeal, I have the agile, I have the desire to keep working for God with all my life. And he keeps on talking. He moves on and works hard. The power of a disciple is in the motivation he has to follow and with the reason and the motive they have. Why are you following? Your motive can determine your end. Why are you following? Your motive can determine how you finish. Why are you following? It is good that you come and you sit down today and find what you're dealing with every other moment. And God bless you. I'm Timothy Profitable, the servant of the Lord. And I believe you, wherever you're watching, God will bless you as you keep being faithful in his vineyard and you continue. God never leave nor forsake people who are faithful to his calling. God bless you. See you in the next episode. See you in the next episode.